Hello, everyone. What is shaking? Welcome to an afternoon edition of Lou Reviews. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna get this thing going here. Just want to pin that to the chat. Cool. Now you guys can call in. I'll take your calls here in a little bit. Let's go ahead and do this. What's shaking, everyone? How you doing? Today's gonna be a fun show. Excuse me. We're gonna have a ton of fun. This will be a good one because, man, the reaction to this groundbreaking, monumental Mexican congressional hearing that wasn't actually a congressional hearing, from my understanding as well. We're going to get into all the reactions. Just before we do, of course, I want to welcome you guys. If this is your first time here, I just want to say welcome to Lou Reviews. This is a destination for critical thinking in the realm of the unexplained. I'm your host, Luis Jimenez. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the show. If you want to support on a whole nother level, we've got donation buttons right below this video. And also we've got links to our Patreon. That's the best way to support the show. Okay, so let's get it on. I want to say hello to everyone in the chat who's here. Renee Cruz, thanks for being first here. Morty Matt, what's shaking? Hey, back at you. Crypt Keeper, lost interest in the UFOs like 3 years ago. Anything new these days or same old shiz? Same old shiz, but in a little bit more sophisticated way. Think of OSAP on steroids. And like that mid-90s Mark McGuire synthetic, that good shit, that good stuff. Pat Calabria, what is going on? Thanks for being here. Swink McLeod, afternoon, all fellow keepers of alien bodies that just might be near ancient native people's bodies who were stolen from their resting places. Hello, Swink. Hiko, welcome. Renee Cruz, I see you again. And Dallas 214972. So do you believe that UFOs are secret products of the US government? For sure. That is definitely 99.999999% of it. I'm going to leave that infinite 01 for the possibility, because I'm open-minded. I am open-minded to the possibility of alien visitation at some time throughout the Earth's history, since we were a breathable atmosphere in a habitable place. Possible. But yes, to answer your question, yeah, I think most of this stuff is brand new toys, possibly toys that look like defying physics. Maybe they are defying physics. Who knows what kind of great toys they've got stowed away. Forget about it, Lockheed Martin. Forget about Northrop Grumman. Forget about Boeing. Like, I want to see what's inside the Department of Energy. I want to see those patents and those toys. Because we know that the nuclear engine patents for the submarines and aircraft carriers that never have to refuel are all there. Free energy right there, and for the taking, right there to invest and to integrate into our infrastructure, and nobody's talking about it. You want to talk about clean energy? You want to talk about changing how the world works? That would be the way to do it, in my opinion. Some of those awesome nuclear energy and efficiencies that have been developed and discovered with our tax dollars by our government and stowed away in the Department of Energy where no one's allowed to go to. Even the most powerful of congressmen would have a difficult time getting into some of those things. Private companies, I'm sure, have parts of this stuff, and we're going to go a little bit into this, and we've sort of brushed on this before, and we're going to brush on it again, because I just love bookmarking things on Twitter, because they're just wonderful little things that we could talk about throughout the show. So let's do this. Let's get started. Where do we begin? Obviously, right? Let's begin with the Mexico UFO hearing, and I'm on Christina Gomez's channel right now because she did a 4.5 hour live stream with Jimmy Church, and they broke down this historic meeting, and discussion, this landmark public hearing on UFOs, as she wrote here. So, oh gosh, where do we begin with this? And what's interesting also is, I mean, I checked in on this yesterday, and there was a 1.5 thousand people watching her live stream of this this landmark event. It's up to 104,000 views, which is crazy. It's like, and from what I've watched so far, nothing was questioned. Everything was pretty much accepted. Everything was, oh my gosh, wow. Nothing, there was no, it seemed like no critical thinking at all. And it's funny because I've got it paused on the part where Ryan Graves is speaking to the committee here. And we're going to get into Ryan Graves' comments from today, because he's had so much warning, especially from folks on Twitter. And I cannot imagine, we'll just get into him into a second. We'll get into him into a second, because it's absolutely insane. So yeah, in this in this presentation, you got Robert Salas, you've got ufologist Ronnie Vernet, Avi Loeb was there, obviously Jaime Maussan, and I think that was probably the most controversial part of this entire presentation, other than all of the other people here. Like the Mexican naval surgeon, the Mexican biologist, the Michael Valiant, who is a consultant on the French Space Center, like the usual crew, and with a couple new names here and there, a lot, obviously focusing on Mexican sightings, clearly. But to add credibility to this event, this is the big name, Ryan Graves, the U.S. Navy fighter pilot. This is the guy that adds credibility to this entire fiasco. And when Ryan Graves announced this, there were so many people that tried to warn him. Let's actually go to, oh, there we go. Let's see if he hasn't deleted when he posted he was going to do this. Here we go. This event will help identify the global impact of hashtag UAP on aviation safety. I'm honored to accept this invitation to address Mexican legislators on this issue, or as Nick Pope likes to say, issue. So I don't want to read this because I really don't care, but the most, the first thing that is said on this tweet was from Michael Huntington. And he's kind of like, I told you so today. He wrote to Ryan Graves, consciously sharing the media spotlight with a long established hoax exploiter, Jaime Maussan, is delegitimizing for the field, legitimate research, the UFO issue, and your public interest organization. You should publicly decline participation in protest. And Ryan Graves responded to this. He wrote, "I considered this context in my decision to participate." So he knew exactly who Jaime Maussan was. He knew exactly who Jaime Maussan was. A hoaxer. Fact. That's not my opinion. That's not allegedly. That is fact. He has been busted hoaxing this exact same thing that he pulled yesterday with the mummies. Grab a drink. However, the opportunity to address the aviation safety concerns and build bridges on this traditionally siloed issue outweighed, to me, the risk. Boy, this tweet from August 24th did not age well. Did not age well. Michael Huntington retorted with, "Good to see that you recognize this concern. You should concertedly address the issue as part of your opening statement. To stand tactic and not to do so will only serve to support the very why can't I say this word? Delegitimizing aspects and demonstrate an acceptance of hoaxing and exploitation and pseudoscience." You know, like Michael Huntington is one of these guys who really cares. He helped me quite a bit and was a big supporter of sharing the big phone home. Obviously, we don't see eye to eye today, but if you go through all of these tweets, a lot of them are warnings. Dude, don't do this. Like, don't do this. And of course, you got your a couple people here and there, saying, "Oh, it's no big deal," or whatever. And there's comments to these comments to these comments. It's so flash forward to today, where Ryan Graves issued this an hour ago. And this is why I did the show, because it's just so fucking funny. Because there's no way that the people around Ryan Graves advising him, there's no way they didn't warn him about Jaime Maussan. And if they didn't, it had to have been on purpose. And if they encouraged him to do that event because of Jaime Maussan's credentials, Ryan Graves, you seriously need to stop and take a look at who's advising you and who your team or who your friends are. Because there's no way anyone with even the smallest toe dipped into the UFO UAP subculture knows who Jaime Maussan is and what a awful representation of journalism he is. So Ryan Graves writes today, welcome, Arrow. It's quite the shit show today. Ryan Graves writes, after the U.S. Congressional UFO hearing, I accepted an invitation to testify before the Mexican Congress, hoping to keep up the momentum of government interest in pilot experiences with UAP. Unfortunately, yesterday's demonstration was a huge step backwards for this issue. My testimony centered on sharing my experience and the UAP reports I hear from commercial and military aircrew through ASA's Witness program, Americans for Safe Aerospace, his little company that he can't just help but plug even when he's apologizing. I will continue to raise awareness of UAP as an urgent matter of aerospace safety, national security, and science, but I am deeply disappointed by the unsubstantiated stunt. No, you're not. You had to have been told about this as soon as you announced it. You knew since the 24th of August, and I mean, probably earlier than that because you announced it on the 24th. I'm honored to accept this invitation to address the Mexican legislators on this issue. 442 retweets, huge, groundbreaking landmark moment. All of those key words. There is, I mean, like the things that I saw in the couple of weeks leading up to this was like number one, was the list of hoaxes promoted by Jaime Maussan. There's 44 on here. Let's zoom in on this. I mean, right? I wonder how far it'll go. Yeah, it won't go far enough. I need to get glasses, guys. The ship Maussan and Garide said accompanied the male Bop comet. The Hale-Bopp comet. The UFO sighting Venus during the eclipse of July 11th, 1991. The fake photographs of Carlos Diaz Martinez and his alien tripod. UFO or galaxy. It was the Sombrero Galaxy or M104. Like, these are all the things that he's claimed were true. The flying horses. Maussan said it was real because it was moving, and then it cuts off. I can't see the rest of it. The extraterrestrial Liza computer is a very earthly alien. The case of the penguin sitting on top of the tree, it's a penguin. Like, just the video plagiarism of kangaroos or chupacabras on YouTube. Like, dude, so many hoaxes that this guy, and he's even lied on the Discovery Channel, like every single, oh look, there, you can see it better there. Well, that's weird. All of a sudden it just zoomed in. Oh, I think because I backed out of the picture, that's why. Like, look at this, man. It's hilarious. And like UFO Shane says, time to make a new list and add 46 through 47. Like, dude, this guy, it is mind-boggling how Ryan Graves accepted this invitation. And if you are going to accept the invitation, you should have done exactly what Michael Huntington told you to do. Is your opening statement should have been like, look, I'm not here with Jaime Maussan. I'm not here. I don't represent any of these guys. I honestly just met them. I'm here to engage the Mexican government, to get Mexican people, and talk about aerospace safety, even though that's totally covered by the military. We don't need Ryan Graves on this. Like, we don't need Ryan Graves on this issue. Just don't need him. But he thinks the world does. So, you should have listened to Michael Huntington, man. Like, you should have denounced all of those guys before you took this invitation. And I just cannot imagine, like, when you got this invitation, who did you run this by? Like, did you call any of your friends or ask any of the people around you, like your team? Because you've got a whole team of people at Americans for Safe Aerospace. There's a whole conglomerate of folks. Advisors. Alex Dietrich, did you give her a buzz? I have a feeling she knows about Jaime Maussan, even though she pretends she's not a ufologist at all. David Fravor probably doesn't know. I'd say he doesn't know Jaime Maussan. I'm not familiar with Michael Green or any of these. Chris Van Voorhees, these are all pilots. But on your advisory board, you got Brian Bender. He definitely knows about Jaime Maussan. Tim Galladay, the whistleblower who's not a whistleblower, another one of those guys. Avi Loeb, I'm pretty sure knows about Jaime Maussan. Definitely Christopher Nolan or Christopher Mellon. I meant Gary Nolan, both of them. Both Christopher Nolan and Mellon, Gary Mellon. Both of them. And also your team here, your communications director. You had to have run it by her, right? Haley Morris or Brad Crispin, who was sitting next to you at the hearings. Like, you had to have run it by these guys. And then you have had to see all those Twitter comments going, dude, don't do this. Don't do this. But you had to do it. Just had to do it. Just had to get your company out there. The company that nobody asked for. The nonprofit nobody asked for, but that only takes dollars from the government. It also takes guy like I could also donate too if I want to. I could donate to Americans for Safe Aerospace, but don't expect Americans for Safe Aerospace to inquire about Americans' sightings or stories or issues with the UFO phenomena or / UAP phenomena. They only want to hear from commercial pilots and government people. They don't give a shit about actual Americans. Like, so just the point, how many, let's say 2% of the population represented by the military. I think that's quite high too, but just throwing that number out there. The other 98% of Americans, we're good. That Neil deGrasse Tyson, we're good. It's a joke. It's a joke, and this goes to show like what Ryan Graves and what Americans for Safe Aerospace is all about. They're looking for contracts, man. They're looking for government contracts to fund this show, just like OSAP. And I'm shocked that not one journalist has asked, and not one podcaster, not one interviewer has asked Ryan Graves, hey, do you guys plan to petition the government for contracts to study this? If so, how much are you looking for? That's what I'd like to know. What kind of contract is Americans for Safe Aerospace looking for? What kind of contract is now clearly Avi Loeb is looking for, which he told us on this show he was not interested in the government funding his exploration of extraterrestrial material entering our atmosphere. Right here on this show, talked about his porch many, many times. Nice guy. But when you actually listen to his colleagues, they don't like him. And they don't like him because he's just selling books and writing theories every week when that's not how science fucking works. Like, you don't write as many papers or opinion pieces as he does in the world of science. When you're an astronomer, you write maybe one every year, if that. Every other year, because you actually study what you're writing about. Like, there are many colleagues, and maybe one day we'll get into that interview or that Zoom session with Avi Loeb, and I'm forgetting the astronomer's name, but she was based off of her character. The character from Contact was based off of her, and she was pissed because she was like, "You're throwing the entire astronomy field under the bus when you do shit like this." And then he got super mad and fucking yelled at her and got all upset. And at the time I was like, good for him. good for him that's standing up to this wall of scientists that are being, ignorant when it comes to the fascination and the wonder about this topic. Why are they not curious? That's the viewpoint I had at the time. But now I'm like, oh, I get it. These are actual scientists doing actual science and trying to make breakthroughs and trying to get recognition for their work. And here comes Avi Loeb with his, Harvard tenure and his book and his claims and his theories, and his inferring to a point where his colleagues are like, fucking stop. Just stop. And now here he is. I guarantee you he's going to ask for government dollars when it comes to studying this topic. Look who's on that board. Christopher Mellon is on the board. He's also on the board for America's First Safe Aerospace. Sean Cahill is on the board for Avi Loeb's Galileo project. I believe so is Lou Elizondo. Yeah, government guys infiltrated these what looked like, anyway, at surface level, very, earnest and sort of honest curiosity, in organizations that were genuinely trying to get answers. And now it's morphed into, oh, you're just positioning yourself to get a government contract similar to OSAP to study something that you're not going to get answers to. And you're definitely not going to get any better answers than the instruments and the tools that the United States military has to look at our atmosphere. Like, it's a money grab. It's a money grab. And it's so goddamn obvious that this is a money grab. But anyway, so yeah, let's gotta enter this full screen. No, I don't want to do that, man. I don't want to do that. I want to do actual size like that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, man, it's just, dude, it's a joke. Like, it's a joke. This whole stupid thing is a joke, and Ryan Graves should have fucking known better. And now he's sitting out here apologizing. And here's the issue is that now not only the community, but now this has gone mainstream. This was on the Drudge Report. People are actually going, oh my God, Mexico just dropped alien bodies, and they're asking our government, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, you just created a huge headache for the American government because now they got to produce bodies that don't exist. Is that what they have to do? Because all of these bodies that came out yesterday by Jaime Maussan, and let's go ahead and we'll probably mute this. We don't need to hear it, but we could fast forward to the presentation of these stupid alien bodies that he brought forward. These have been proven to be hoaxes. He's pulled this shit more than once before. It is an absolute joke. And this just, like, again, like, you've got now even more curiosity and fuel to this misinformation fire. People are going to go to, they're going to get lost down rabbit holes. They're going to waste a whole bunch of time, possibly money, looking into this topic. They're going to enter the cult, and before you know it, boom, they're a believer, baby. Bam, got him. And that's what Jaime Maussan's doing. He's expanding his audience. He's letting everyone know who he is again on a really big scale, and using Ryan Graves' name and credibility to do so. He knew exactly what he was fucking doing. He used you like a fucking fiddle. But the part that absolutely flabbergasted me is how you even were anywhere near this. Like, look at this. Look at this. Look at what they do here. Uncovering, like, they've got these silk robes over boxes of bullshit. They put them in these crates like it's an Indiana Jones artifact. And it's just like, who said it earlier? I think it was, who was it? Let me go to the top here. I think it was Swink. Yeah, Swink McCloud. It's just people's bodies that they exhumed from ancient native burial grounds and pieced together these bodies with animal parts and human remains, and then cast them in these fake mummy-like stone bullshit thing. When you do the x-rays, when you do the DNA analysis, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. And if this was real, trust me when I tell you, not only like big name mainstream scientists would want their hands on this data, they'd be screaming for this data today. Maybe some of them even are, because they don't know about this bullshit. This is going to cause so many headaches. I'll agree with Ryan Graves on one thing he said. This is going to set this topic back years. Not that it was even, that forward to begin with. Like, we haven't taken any steps forward as far as I'm concerned. And from what I've seen behind the curtain. If you look behind the curtain with me, if you could see what I see and heard what I've heard, you'd see it's just it's pulling levers, honking horns, doing this with, like, twisty knobs, maybe even a little bit of this. Like, it is a clown show behind the curtain, an absolute clown show. And there are some people who subscribed to this clown show hook, line, and sinker naively and intently. Because I think most, and you don't even have to be that intelligent. You really don't. You don't have to be that smart. But if you get behind the scenes and you get in with these folks, you'll find really quickly that they're all of them, 99% of them, are full of shit. They're all angling to sell a book. They're all angling to do a huge live stream. They're all angling to get clicks and more subscribers. They're all angling to just sell sensationalism. They are the National Enquirer, just in a different medium. And the part that's hilarious is they take themselves so seriously. Just like I did. I thought I wasn't. That's the funny part. I was like, we're the show that we take the topic seriously, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. And clearly I did, because I got hurt by these people who were posing as friends and colleagues. Like, I feel betrayed by them, and rightly so. And a lot of these folks have just stayed quiet. They've just played the middle. And those, I think, are the most dangerous ones, because they're usually the biggest channels. The ones who don't comment and don't push back on shit like this. Like, they don't ask hard questions. They just accept and move on. And if they see something that doesn't go against their belief, because it's not a belief, they don't believe this shit either. They're selling this shit. If they see something that hurts their profit margin, they may comment on it then. But if it doesn't affect their profit, like a couple of people screaming at them on Twitter, like me, that doesn't affect their profit margin at all. What would affect their profit margin is calling this shit out. It's absolutely wild, man. This was look at this garbage. Look at this garbage. Look at this. I wish they had I wish we had a camera of Ryan Graves' face when this shit was being presented. What did he walk out? I wonder. Oh, let's see. Let's see here. He's looking down. He's fucking embarrassed. Does he do anything but look down? Oh, we do get a look up. Okay. Back down. Like, I think this is exhausting him. Has to. I mean, it's almost 4 hours in, right? But these guys look engaged. These guys are looking at Jaime Maussan. They seem kind of impressed. Not Ryan. He's kind of like, what the fuck is good? Look at his face, dude. He's not engaged at all. Look at these guys. These guys look engaged. I mean, this one's kind of looking straight, but I mean, it's either look at Jaime's butt or, you know, at least these guys. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. Still engaged. You know what I'm saying? Look at Ryan. Look at him. Oh, man. Hilarious. Just absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious, man. Oh, we got a caller. Let's take a call. Oh, we got UFO Shane's in the house here. Let's see. All right, Shane, turn down your your microphone or the audio, the YouTube channel. So quick. All right, I'll take it off. You can get ready behind the scenes. All right. Yeah, if you're gonna come in here, be ready. But yeah, we can start taking calls. Get your opinions on this stuff, guys. Gorham, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Would you go as far as saying that we feel somber if we saw what you saw behind the curtain? Yeah, you'd be somber, but I think you'd be pissed off. I think you'd be exactly what I am right now. Yeah, great question. Yeah, you'd be more just pissed off. The UFO Shane with a $5 donation. Thank you. And he'll be up here soon in a second. Good times today on UFO Twitter for sure. Everybody's laughing, still arguing with people at this very moment. Yep. I mean, I'm sure you are. I don't know why you're arguing. It's just waste your time. You're wasting your time. All right, let's see. Let's see if he's ready. All right, give me a thumbs up if you're ready there, Shane. Oh, nope. Did you? I thought that was a thumbs up. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, better. Awesome. All right, so let's do this. Let's get you on a solo layout. So we got you here. And then let's do that. Let's see what happens there. Oh, wow, that's enormous. Okay. Let's fix this. Yeah, you're too big, buddy. All right.
Yeah, I'm huge. I'm a big ass dude.
It's all right. I got the same issue. Don't sweat it. All right. So Shane, what's on your mind?
Oh, dude, I mean, what a crazy shit show this is for all of UFO Twitter, man. Just ufology as a handful, and like you said, like Ryan Grace's face, like he was just probably like, oh Lord God, what have I done? Everyone and their mom told me not to do this, but I still went ahead and did it for that free trip to Tijuana. What was I thinking? You know?
What was I thinking? Yeah, I mean,
man, how could this happen?
it is a joke. It is a joke. So what do you argue with people about online? Like what's the thing that they're saying? What's the defense? Don't disrespect a veteran.
I haven't gotten that as much this time. Now, when I first about a month and a half ago, whenever I found out this was happening, I went on every space. I DM'd every person I knew, and that's what I got. How dare you? He's a veteran. He's for aerial safety. He's doing. I'm like, well, he's still going with this hoaxer Jaime Maussan, and it just kept going like that. And it Tiff says she can't hear me. You can hear me, right?
No, yeah, we got you now. That was my bad. I had your audio on low here, so people they can barely hear you. But yeah, we got you now.
Yeah, so I got that earlier on when I first brought this to everyone's attention.
Yeah,
But now it's just everyone defending the scientific data. Oh, Robert Salas, who's not ever been a scientist, and all the information he's saying, Darcy Weir said it best. He's getting the info from Jaime Maussan's scientists.
right.
The scientists.
right. Yeah, the scientists that have been shown to be absolute bullshitters and nutters.
Yeah.
And that's so funny that that Robert Salas, the guy who's actually changed his story, he went from only seeing them at the nuclear facility to them being abducted by aliens in his
Oh yeah.
second book, you know, and it just, the story gets more grand and more grand and more grand, and his ego is so big. I mean, when we had him on the big phone home, he was he was an egomaniac. He hated sharing the spotlight with other folks talking about the topic. It's like, how dare you? How dare I not be the most interesting thing in this room?
Yeah. Well, you know
He's
how it is, man. When you talk to these people, you get that a lot. You know, people that you respect, and then they turn out to be just straight egotistical maniacs. They want nothing to do with anything other than themselves and to sell their book. You know, what's funny is I did that space this morning. We had 250 people in there, and I had one dude try to sell his book. And you know, people were coming up just trying to sell their grift, and I was like, "You're out of here, dude! Like, this is ridiculous."
well,
Like,
there's been
you know,
I've noticed this. There's one guy who let me get your name in there. There's one guy who's selling, who the other day in another space was selling like this idea that he's got proof of some sort of other dimensional dark matter string theory being or something. And you know, he's like, you know, he just wants it to go viral. He's trying to make it go
it's
viral,
Alien Light. You're talking about Alien Light.
oh, that's him. That's the
Yeah,
one.
I know him well. He gets booted if I'm hosting a space. I'll literally will be like, "Get the heck out of here, dude." He does it every time. "Hey guys, I'm with Alien Light, and we're trying to figure out." You know, it's just I can't remember his spiel, but I get it every time. He knows better than to pop up if I'm in charge. I'll just start laughing and just kick him out.
Yeah. So
So
I have become recently familiar with you, Shane. As far as like kind of like your story in the UFO community. So I know recently, especially, I wasn't it at the announcement of Ryan Graves going to this event where you were like, fuck this, like you lost your shit. And
yeah,
then
it was like 30 minutes after. Yeah.
yeah, okay, all right, yeah. So okay, so to walk me through that. So what happened? What was the reaction to you calling Ryan Graves out and saying, man, this is a mistake, this is really stupid, and I'm also losing faith in this?
Yeah, I was immediately doxxed. Everyone who knows me knows that I was doxxed back in March. I have a criminal record, you know, from years in the back, but I was dealing with it in private, and I was doxxed in for liking a post, and I went. They took me to jail for 25 days, and it was a whole thing.
When you say they, can you be specific? Is it okay if I ask you specifically who you're talking about?
Well, yeah. So the person that doxed me, you probably don't know, it's a guy named Dr. Fred Rogers. He's this lunatic guy that is funny in spaces,
Right.
and he did that. Him and you know some other people that I assume had something to do with it because they
Yeah.
they took a picture of my rabbit that I had in the front yard and the fact that I had talked about kind of the area I live in, and they
Yeah.
found my house with satellite images and then called the police to my home. And I was actually sitting in my bedroom and I had an AR-15 pointed at my head through the window. And
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
So they call. What did they say to the police for them to show up at your house?
Well, to be fair, like I said, I was dealing with a warrant I had at the time from something 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I got you.
yeah.
I
So
got
it
you.
was it
So
was
they
I totally
ratted on you.
needed.
So they
Yeah.
ratted on you.
Yeah,
They
because I like
ratted
to
on you.
post. Yeah, because I like to post. But a lot of my good friends, they know me. But you know, so I have that going, and so I mean, the absolute second I mentioned Ryan Graves' name in a light that wasn't, oh, thank you so much for fighting for me in the skies of the nation. You know,
Yeah.
you're a hero. I was doxxed immediately. My mugshot called an idiot. Was told that because that my Walmart job was ass, and just called an idiot. And this guy's a hero, and it's the whole thing, man. So
Wow. Okay, so
yeah.
now I've got the perspective because I only had pieces of that story and it was hard to sort of figure out exactly what happened. So just who, I mean, I don't want you to, if you had to take a guess, who else do you think was had a part in this? Because I think right now for me the most important thing is making people aware of who these people are. So when they get into this situation, they're not afraid to speak up and say something, either to them or to the community as a whole. But I don't
Man,
want to
like,
put you on the spot. I don't want to make you feel nervous. I know there's already been a ton of shit that's happened to you, but I mean, like, I,
oh no,
I'm
I'm good.
just like I knew who was silently boycotting my show, and I knew who was talking shit behind my back, behind the
Yeah, that's
scenes
messed up.
before the build up to the big phone home, and why I was getting such a pushback from it. Like, and eventually we found out who all those folks are. Are some of them the same that sort of I was dealing with, you think,
No,
or just completely
I
separate
mean,
crew?
yeah, this has more to do with like Sawan. Sawan was the one that did it when
Well,
Ryan Gase
Salon is
came up.
very familiar to me.
Yeah, he was the one. Now he's liking everything I'm doing now because I'm like, hey, like at least Ryan Grace came out with the statement, but it doesn't, change the fact that he still goes a little like crazy hard. But that's the thing about UFO Twitter though, dude. Like if you say the wrong thing that someone doesn't agree with, and they will do everything they can to ruin you. Just every possible thing. I don't, there's certain. I mean, it goes too much. I'm friends with a lot of people on both sides, so I don't really want
Yeah.
to like pick a side. Like I talk to Joe, I talk to Tupa, I talk to everybody, and I get a lot of shit for being there. But it's really just got to do with people just having these unhinged, like cult like moments, in my opinion, where they just want to defend something that they have no reason to go that far invested into.
Right. So
It's
why? But
just,
I
it's
guess my
crazy.
question is, well, why interact with those people? Because I
Uh,
feel like you're interacting like a few of the people that you mentioned. I mean, UFO Joe for sure, Sawan for sure,
I don't
UAP
interact with
Mike is
Salon.
one I could think of. Like a lot of those guys, Thomas Fessler, like they're
I
all
don't even talk to
connected,
Tom. I don't talk to Thomas Fessler.
So it's like, why interact with those guys?
I don't know, man. I've never had
if
a problem with them.
if they're so quick, well, did any of them support your doxing or the sort of what happened to you? Were they like cheering it
No,
on?
no, they helped me actually with like a GoFundMe and all kinds of things to pay for the bills that I had accumulated while I was in jail.
That is
It
absolutely
was
wild to
actually,
me.
yeah. I'm like in a different place, man. It's weird. I don't know really how to explain it. So,
Man, I feel
but
like
also whenever
half
people
of them
start
might
going
feel bad
off,
for you, and the other half are just like, fuck that guy.
yeah. Well, also whenever people start to go off now, like I can be there, like, hey guys, don't. You're taking it too far. I try to be like a voice of reason
Right.
in a place where there was absolutely none.
Well,
So I
I
do
mean,
that a lot.
that's a paradox, my friend. That's a
Yeah.
paradox. Like, I don't even think I mean, I've tried privately, I've tried publicly. Um, and it's just unhinged. Every time there's a response, it's completely unhinged. So it's like, well, why am I even going to try at this point? I've tried for 2 years behind the scenes. I tried all the time.
Yeah.
And then
Man,
and it just
I
got to a
remember
point
when
where I
your show
couldn't.
had that big flip, dude, because when I was homeless and stuff, dude, your show got me through a lot with your Brandon Fugel stuff. I told you I walked like 15 miles home that one day and I listened to that interview live the whole time. It got me through that walk and yeah, I just don't get it. Like but no one tells me who to talk to. I'm my own person.
Yeah.
So people can get mad at me all they want. They can try to steer me in whatever direction they want to try to steer me in. But I'm me, they're them, and it is what it is. And if they want to attack me, then it's all. I'm just gonna come in both barrels because like I told Panda the other day, I was like, I'll burn this whole mother down, both sides. So
What does that mean?
I'm just saying, I don't know, just if you push somebody too far, right, you just start releasing everything. But I would never do that unless it was just some massive assault onto me personally. And honestly, I wouldn't even want to do that to be real. But if it just came down to it, like honestly, everybody just needs to quit with the drama crap. Like I know it's hurt everybody and it's hurt me a lot, but I want to keep calling out hoaxers like Jaime Maussan or Ryan Graves, knowing damn well he shouldn't have gone down to Mexico. And that's what I'm really trying to focus on more so than the endless bottomless pit that is UFO Twitter. I've hosted more spaces than anybody, dude, where everyone's gotten in there to be screaming matches, and it never goes anywhere, dude. And
Yeah.
I think you take a good stance where you don't really jump into that, and that's why I like you, Lou. So, you know, but
Okay. I
I try to
appreciate
be
it, man.
loyal. Like I don't talk behind people's backs. I don't message people and go, "Oh, this guy's a freaking idiot." I just keep it all to myself. You know, and it's just I do get mad though, like anybody else, when my name gets used for no reason. You
Yeah.
know, like that UFO harassment account keeps putting me in polls, calling me the biggest snitch ever. I've never snitched on a single person or done
Hmm.
anything of that matter. So
Well, I mean, look, when you say things like, oh, you know, like the thing that sort of caught my attention is when you say things like, I've got the information to burn this whole thing down, both sides. Like
no,
that,
I
that,
don't really.
that piques
I'm
my
just
curiosity, and
well,
I think, look, I've said a lot. It's really because I tried to be that middleman for 2 years. Being that middleman is difficult. At some point, at least for me, I had to take a side. Like it was like, okay, this bullshit outweighs the facts. And this bullshit also comes with a lot of baggage. A lot of baggage. And this side doesn't come with anywhere near as much baggage. And so like that for me, I think was sort of my turning point. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Obviously, you're going to, you stated you're going to do you. And that's awesome, man. Like, I hope you can continue that middle ground. I hope you keep hosting spaces. I hope you don't get harassed anymore. I hope you don't get doxxed. I hope you don't get a whole bunch of shit for being on this show with me, which I think you
oh,
will.
dude, I probably
But,
will, but it's okay.
but hey, man, like, I would just say pay attention who gives you shit for being here. But hey, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts and being as brave as you were. And I'm sorry that you've had troubles in the past. I hope they weren't too serious. I don't expect you to tell us what happened, but I respect that you're at least trying to get your life back together and make right. And
Oh yeah,
like
100%.
I can sympathize with having a shitty job. Like I do Lyft, I do Uber. So like working, like I wake up every morning at 4:30 in the morning to go work until 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I understand long shifts. I understand working for little to no money, and that's nobody's patting us on the back calling us fucking heroes.
Yeah,
And
100%.
so I understand and respect that grind. So keep grinding, man, and you're welcome here anytime. And I appreciate your voice.
Sounds good, man.
All right, Shane. We'll see you soon, buddy.
All right, later.
All right, bye. All right, let's bring up ice cream shots. What's happening, man?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for calling into the show. This is the first time I think I've seen ice cream shots. That name. So, welcome. How'd you find the show?
I mean, like most, man, I've been involved in like looking into the topic and just general research into it for a really long time, man. And prior to Tom DeLonge and all the stuff like that. So I
Yeah,
mean, when you had your interviews with Lou and just you hear obviously, I mean, you know how it is. Twitter, everybody talks about everybody.
yeah, yeah. All right, cool, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hope if I have interacted with you, I hope it was nice.
No, I mean it's fine, dude. You haven't said anything mean or anything like that. I think I might have messaged like once or twice or a couple comments on something that you've said before, but no, dude, I'm not here for all the drama like most people, man. I'm just here to simply learn like what's going on.
Yeah.
Where's the topic going at this point? To kind of get back on track with what you're showing here with these mummies, these Nazca mummies. It's just like the tough thing for me, Lou, is like I just don't know how much longer ufology can keep anyone with half a brain anymore, much longer. Because the problem is
I
like, go ahead.
no. I mean that's a wonderful question, but it seems like there's just, well, 98% of the population doesn't. It's not good enough. That's why it doesn't get mainstream media's attention. That's why it's not taken seriously by science. Like it's ufology is a niche, man. It's a subculture. It's such a small segment of society, but it's a really extreme, very fervent section of the society because it comes with experiences, just like me. Like I came into this arena before the experience. I've always been fascinated with this topic. I don't know why, but since I was a kid, I was fascinated. I think a lot of people have that same sort of story and sort of same, introduction into this topic is like wandering the library and finding the UFO books for some reason, and
Yeah.
then you have an experience and you're like, oh my God, that. everything that I've read about has been validated. This is real. This is as real as it gets.
Well, that's the
And
process though, Lou. It's like
yeah,
everyone has to kind of go through this. It's why it's so difficult.
right,
Where everyone says like every new thing that comes out is always this is for the general public. This is to bring everybody up to speed.
right,
It's like it's going to take years to do that because what happens is everybody goes through the stage where you start off believing everything you can see, everything
right,
from Linda Moulton Howe, so on and so forth. All of these people, and that's why I would say if you have half a brain over time and you can be objective to it, you can
right.
see the pitfalls as you go and you learn, okay, this is crap, and you move on, but it takes too much time to do that. And then when you have things like you have an opportunity to go to Congress with somebody who with firsthand testimony, if we can get there, and you take Grush, it just sets the field back so far, and then it's just doubling down with these mummies. It's just like this is going to crash it really hard for a while. Ufology is going to go
Yeah,
backwards in time for a really long. It's coming. I don't think people really understand. Like the more that this doesn't happen, the more the truth
right.
doesn't come out when they put faith. It's going far, far back. And like I want the truth to come out, whatever it is. But
Yeah.
I don't want to crash the topic before we could even maybe get a chance to really peer behind the curtain and see what's going on, man.
I mean, I sympathize with you, and I feel the last hope that you're hanging on to. And I think for me, I feel exactly the same way. It's just the difference is I got a peek behind the curtain, and I saw how the sausage is made, and it's, as far as I can tell, it's not that it's bullshit. It's that they definitely don't have the answers, and they have absolutely no clue. And whatever they are selling, it's not for a betterment of humanity. It's for their own personal gain. And so that's kind of where I'm at with it. And it's completely spread rot through my experience, through my belief, through my passion of this topic. Like, this is the first time I've done 3 shows in a row in fucking a year, easily a year. It's killed my passion for it. Like, I don't care to fight for the betterment of this cause anymore, because that's exactly what I was trying to do, is legitimize the conversation and make it a real topic that science cannot ignore. And if you get the right data, if you get the right, just one thing to make people like an Eric Weinstein go, whoa, what the fuck is that? Okay.
Yeah, but we still need more than that, though. I mean,
Of course.
Weinstein,
Yeah.
all of these people, they, and it's not like I'm not trying to down what you did or what you tried to do. Obviously, any kind of effort like that, man, is helpful. I mean, nobody can down you for what you tried to do. At the end of the day, you got involved with some people who maybe didn't have your best interests at heart, as it turns out. Who hasn't been fooled before?
Right.
Okay,
Right.
everybody has been, but the problem is that we're at a point where the general public, people like Weinstein, even Congress, we have to get some kind of real evidence at some point. These people are going to turn away. And let me ask you something, Lou. Can you blame them? Can you blame them? I don't.
Here's the thing. I don't think there is real evidence. That's the thing. There is no real evidence.
Why do you think that, though? I mean, you really think that? Hold on a second. Let me ask you this question. You really think since the 30s, brother, that we've been able to have just a couple of scientists that were able to crack anti-grav, and nobody else ever has been smart enough ever since, and we've been able to back it, we've held it secret for all this time and nobody else has figured it out? I think that we have US tech is advanced, though. I'm with you on that, but I still think it had to come from somewhere else, though. I don't think in the 30s we were able to crack that, brother. I haven't seen evidence of that, though, either.
I don't think now. You said the 1930s, okay? So that was almost 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're telling me for 100 years, these programs and technology has been reverse engineered. Now think about that. It would take a massive amount of people, supplies, room. In almost 100 years, we've gotten nobody better than Dave Grush. We've gotten nobody better than Lou Elizondo. We've gotten nobody better than Robert Salas. They're interesting. They're intriguing, but it's not proof. Like we need an Edward Snowden type of character.
You took the words from my mouth.
But
yeah,
I think the reason why we're not getting the Edward Snowden guy is because he doesn't exist, because these programs are not real. They're not real. It's impossible to hide those programs for almost a century. Like, let's just look at this logically. Let's break this down as logically as we can and just try to be logical about this. What is more logical? And I'm going to just use my experience, because this is what I'm trying to get other people to do with their experiences. What is more logical? That what I saw was an alien craft from another dimension, planet, whatever, or was it a natural phenomenon that not only me, but the entire barbecue, the entire party of people I was with also misinterpreted? And then you add on top of that 30 years of time between that event and today. What's more likely? What's more likely that it was mathematically?
I mean, I don't know your experience, but I mean, I think when you look at it, the reason why no one comes out,
it doesn't matter what the experience is. You could take any experience and plug it in for mine.
Okay.
What's more mathematically logical and probable? That it's a natural phenomenon or that something's visiting us? Just mathematically.
I mean, I hear what you're saying.
What's more common?
I think it's still more
like plasma, but plasma lightning.
I mean, I don't know if anybody knows what ball lightning really is, though. But I mean, when you look
we do know it exists, and it's a lot more. I think it's a lot more prevalent and a lot more likely that you see that than an alien spaceship. Is that fair?
I think it's fair for you to think that. Yeah, I personally think it's more likely that we have like logical? we have 100-year of reports. Reports going back from the 30s, and whether you believe them or not, I mean, that's up to you. But a lot of these reports sound the same, brother. For me, I just think it's way less likely that we created this stuff and we've held it for this long. I mean, there's no way all those reports. For me, I think Roswell, there's legitimate possibility Roswell is real, man, for sure.
I don't. Yeah, see, I've lost that wonder because I don't, logistically speaking, I just can't see how it could be hidden for that long. How
what
no
did
one's
it for
come
me,
out.
Well, what did it for me is why would they change the story? You come out and you say we found a flying saucer, they change it the next day. Why would you do that?
Because it's
why would you do that? There's no point to do unless you're trying to cover it up.
Because at the time, the Mogul Project was something that it was a listening device that was listening for nukes on the other side of the planet. It was the most high-tech piece of equipment that the United States military ever created next to the nuclear bomb. And they'd much rather have people go, oh my God, it's an alien spaceship, than, oh my God, it's a listening device that listen to nukes on the other side of the planet. Like how,
I think two things can be true though, Lou. That could have been going on. Mogul could be going on, but there also could have been a crash. And I think that if you had a crash,
there was a crash. It just wasn't alien.
Well, no, I mean, that's fine. I mean, I'm just saying that they could have had a crash that was alien. If Mogul was going on at the same time, they could have decided that, hey, you know what? We're not going to tell them about the saucer crash that happened right next to Mogul and what we were doing. We'll just use Mogul as the cover up. I think that's possible, brother.
It's, sure, anything's possible.
Yeah.
Anything's possible, but it's a lot of ifs. It's a lot of time and zero proof. Zero.
I'm with you on the zero proof. I'm with you.
You know, so like, you asked the question to start this conversation, and the question was, how much longer can this sustain before it crashes? And that's what the wave you're on right now. You're exactly where I was a year and a half ago, man, hanging on to like, there's no way. Yes, there is a way. Yes, it is possible. No.
I do think it's we just can't get to it, is my point. I think when it crashes, Lou, it's gonna be because Congress can't even reach it, because it's like Department of Energy deep or somewhere. They just can't get to it, man.
Why has no one come forward, especially today?
Because, dude, they would pay them crazy money, Lou. They'd make those guys' lives so comfortable. Why would you want to? You'd have to have the come to Jesus moment to want to do that, man.
Hold on a second, man.
Yeah, everybody has a price.
How do you think someone would make more money? By the government paying them off, or by coming out publicly and selling books, films, television, and exclusivity to your story? Like, I'm sorry. No, I 100%
No.
disagree with
You're
you.
missing my point. You're missing my point. Okay. You can be happy with 10 million. You can be happy with 100 million. Okay. If they stay in and make 10 million, or they can come out and make 100, some people are happy with 10. They don't care. They don't want the publicity. They take the money and go home. They don't need the
So
100.
you think the
So
federal
it doesn't
government is
depend.
giving out $10 million payments to keep
No,
people
come
quiet
on,
and
Lou.
comfortable?
Lou,
No,
you
I'm
know
just saying.
I'm throwing a number. You know I'm throwing a
using
number.
your
Come on.
example and I'm putting it in a real world situation, and you're going to me, nah, come on, man, don't do that. And I'm like,
You know I'm
fuck,
throwing a number
this
out.
is the situation you're putting in.
Okay.
But don't you
Okay.
see how frustrating that is, though? Like, you're putting
Well,
these
I think
ifs,
I'm just
what
making an
if, and these
example, right?
possibilities, but you're taking these possibilities,
Okay.
and then I throw them right back at you, and you're like, nah. It's like, dude, you can't do
Okay,
that. You can't
maybe I
have your
won't say
cake.
10 million.
Can't have
We'll
your
play.
cake
We'll
and
play.
your ice cream and eat it too, baby. Come on
I
now.
like you, Lou. No matter what, I like you.
No,
Um,
I look, man.
It's a good
love
conversation,
debate,
brother. Yeah.
and I'm not angry at
Yeah.
you. Let's
No,
just be 100%
I
clear,
know.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not angry here. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm Cuban. I'm passionate. I speak loudly when I think I'm
Yeah.
right, especially, you know. And I
me
do.
too, I'm
I
with you.
think
Yeah.
I'm right, you know, because from a logical perspective, it doesn't make any. There are so many reasons, especially today, with the legislation the way it's written, with the protections that are in place. There's no way you're telling me there's not one fucking scientist who's like, oh my god, I gotta fucking tell the world about this. Look at this. This is huge. There's nobody like Edward Snowden who's like, yo, this is fucked up. People need to know about this. There's not one, especially with the protections that are put in place. There's no way. I'm sorry. There's no way.
There is also more than money. I mean, if it is something where it comes out and it's a religious thing and there's problems with it,
it's a scientific
no. I'm saying like, okay, I hear what you're saying. It's not a money thing. They would come out even if where was the money. Well, I mean, if there is some kind of like religious connotation to it at all, I mean, then you're going to talk about whether or not you got to get somebody that wants to, rip the world's moral fabric up. And that might be harder to Edward Snowden than you think, man, if you were put in that position. If I knew it was something like that, dude, I wouldn't tell anybody, man. Yeah.
With the protections that are written today in Congress, you wouldn't tell anybody?
No. It's not about the protections. I wouldn't worry about my own life. I'm worried about the rest of society. If they felt that way, if they felt that, hey, Lou, let's say this
society
is about
not ready for this conversation.
You go tell the Middle East that their religion isn't real. Good luck with that. Tell me how that works out. Okay. It would be a mess. It would be a mess.
I don't think unveiling the proof of extraterrestrial intelligent life destroys anybody's religion.
Yeah, but no. That's not always true. It's not. You don't know how they're going to take it. I mean, it depends on what comes out about that. How we're made would definitely threaten the religions. All religions have a creation story, Lou. They do.
Let me put what you're saying into something simpler. Don't take the training wheels off that bike, because if you do, they might fall down. They might get hurt. You got to protect them from the real world.
Oh, no. I'm not saying you got to protect them from the real world. I mean, if you fall and scrape your elbow off your bike, that's one thing. Ripping the Middle East apart, that has a whole lot more connotation.
But what I'm saying is keeping that information secret, keeping that information to yourself, if it's real, is the equivalent of keeping the training wheels on the bike, because you're too afraid of what might happen if you take the training wheels off. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying that these guys might not view it that way. So if you're asking me the question of why do we not have a Snowden, must be one. If they feel it's not a training wheel issue, if they feel it's a major religious fucking problem, and they also got some money behind it, and they're getting some money to not talk anything, you got multiple reasons of why they won't. It's probably more difficult than it seems.
Vince Hyde says here with a $10 donation, he says, have you ever considered that reverse engineering was successful and maybe not that hard? Burying the program completely makes sense if everyone can make a world-ending device, which is kind of supporting what your argument is. Yes, I have considered that reverse engineering. Maybe they did figure it out. Maybe it wasn't that difficult. And it wouldn't be that difficult to bury it. But if you're actively working on it and you're actively making craft or equipment that utilize that tech, like again, you're getting into things where, okay, we need to have a building, we need to have overhead, we need to have receipts and payroll, we need to have NDAs, and you're saying that then if you want to compartmentalize it, now you have to have infinitely more versions of that. It's I don't see where you're going to get the money. How out of all those people, not one of them, again, not one have come out. And we could put all the scenarios we want as forever, the ifs and the buts, and well, what if they don't see it that way? Well, look, man, like, then put up or shut up. Like, we need the evidence.
I'm with you. I wish they would come out. I'm with
like,
you.
And until then, my bar, that's where it is. That's where it will always be. Even with my experience, my bar will be, because my experience is not proof. I even said that when I was doing the Big Phone Home. Like, I can't put my experience on the desk of a senator. I can't put my experience on the desk or the televisions of every household in the world. Like, they're not going to give a shit.
Well, me too. Any of us, Lou. Any of us, Lou. They don't care about any of us, what our opinions are.
What I'm saying is, with the way things are today, the legislation and laws and momentum that this topic has to be legitimized, literally, you've got Congress and Senate begging for people to come forward, and nobody is. Like, you have to ask yourself, okay, well, is that because they're scared? Is that because they whatever the infinite reasons, or is it simply, or is it Occam's razor, where it's just the simplest explanation is there isn't any? And when you listen to Dave Grush and you listen to that 2-hour presentation and sale job from Jesse Michaels on Dave Grush Tells Me Everything, when Dave Grush didn't tell you a fucking thing, that was Jesse Michaels Tells Me Everything. And Dave Grush goes, yeah. Like, and then you see how his story changes under oath versus in front of Ross Coulthart or Jesse Michaels. Like, why don't you look, I guess my confusion is why don't you look at that and go, Jesus fucking Christ, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? What is keeping you? What is keeping you from looking at these things, these red flags that are unavoidable? And if you follow this show, if you follow, but hold on a second, if you followed this show, like I think you have, and you've seen what's happened to me, and now I've been validated a year later, how do you look at all these things and go, there's got to be something there? All these liars, all of these grifters, all of these people positioning themselves for government contracts. It's OSAP 2.0, which OSAP, I think we could both agree, was a waste of time and money. Yeah. And now you want to do it again? But
no, I don't want to do it again.
Scale?
No, I don't want to do it again. I don't care what Ryan Graves wants to do. I think all that's nonsense, dude. I don't think
they Congress need any more money. And the Senate does.
No, they don't. They won't give him a clearance, man. They don't care either. They don't want to talk to him anymore either. They can't get the small Senate committee to come together on it, because when ufology had a chance to come up to Congress, we brought more secondhand evidence. I'm with you. It's on us. The Grush situation is on us, man. Like, those are not the people that you should have up there talking. And at the end of the day, I mean, I don't want to go too far off here, but I mean, I don't believe Lazar or Lou at all. But like, that's the dude that let's say if he was real, I think he's completely trashed. But why wouldn't they put him up there first? He's supposed to be somebody that would have firsthand evidence that could drop the 115 and end the whole thing.
Right.
But to your credit, and for what you're saying from your side of it, I do agree with you. They're not doing that because the guy is full of shit and he doesn't have anything to bring there. And Corbell and Knapp, they are, dude. They're making a bunch of cash on it and they're moving on. You don't hear them talking about it.
But who's the people sitting behind Grush?
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree with you. There's multiple sides. The Pentagon obviously doesn't want to release the stuff. That's why they made Arrow, because Arrow, they can funnel everything, all the reporter questions, everything. Oh, is it on the website? Oh, no. Okay, no comment. See you later. They're trying to bore the media. And so that the media starts laughing again, as we're seeing. Yeah, there's trouble. And then you have Lou's crew that's in here trying to beat the door down. They're doing everything they can to try to force a breadcrumb or something to fall out that they can grab and run.
But also including harassing people from NASA and Arrow and lawmakers.
Yeah, so
Um,
there's a lot of moving parts, man. And for me to answer your question before I get too far from it, what keeps me here is I got to say it's because of the reports how long this has been discussed. There has to be something there. This doesn't come out of nowhere and just prepare. If somebody says you're smoking crack for 40 years, dude, you're smoking crack. Okay, that's just like Dave Chappelle said. I mean, there's something that's there, and I'm with you, man. And you know what, Lou, I'm gonna be honest with you, brother, person to person. I understand the trouble you had, and I really do feel for you, bro. They did you dirty, man. But I still think there's a part of you that thinks there's something here too, at the very
well,
bottom of
no,
it, even with
I
all the
mean,
problems, bro. Or else you wouldn't be here, dude. You wouldn't be
no,
here if you thought it was completely nothing.
hey, my on my Twitter profile, it's 0 days UFO sober, because every day I get right back into the addiction. So you're right. You're absolutely 100% right. There's a part of me that believes that there's gotta be something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But
That's what I'm saying. That's all
but
I'm saying. There's got to be, dude.
but if if there is, it's never crashed, it's never been reverse engineered, it's never been communicated with, and it certainly does not give a shit about us. That's I believe that.
Let me
Because
ask you, Lou, why do you think it's never crashed? Why do you believe that?
because why would an intelligent species create something that crashed? What if that thing crashed on a planet that was more advanced than them,
Okay. Okay, let me
and
ask you something, though.
let's say it killed an important person on that more advanced planet? Now you've got a war with a more advanced species. Why would you send something like that out into the cosmos when you don't know what might come back
sure.
at you?
Sure, but I see this is the one trap I think people put themselves in when they answer that question like that. Why would it come here and crash? Well, at the end of the day, just because there's something in the universe that could get here, why do you instantly make it a god? Why do you do that?
Why doesn't
Why would it be infallible? Listen,
Because
mechanics, any kind of thing would
bending space and time is godlike.
nothing's infallible in the universe, brother. Everything has an expiration date. Everything can be beaten. Everything can be destroyed.
As far as you know, in
I don't
your
buy
known
that.
universe,
I don't buy
in
that.
your known universe, sure.
So what's more likely, that they could get here and they might crash, or that they got here and they simply had the god undefeatable metal ever? I mean, this is Marvel shit,
I
dude.
think it would be just like a trip to the zoo. They'd stop by, they'd take a look, they go, huh, and then they'd leave.
Well, I think that's because they've went a lot of other places and they've seen a lot of
Sure.
people like us. A lot of people say,
Yeah.
why don't they land on the White House lawn? Because they probably did that on Planet 54 and it didn't work. You know, everybody freaked out. They're not going to do that again.
Maybe.
You
But
know?
that just goes to I mean, I'm not saying that it's not possible, but I'm saying we've never caught it. We've never reverse engineered it. Like, it doesn't crash. Like, I'm sorry. Like, in my opinion, things like that don't crash. Like, they're beyond crashes. When you're bending space and time, when you're traveling through the cosmos, like you're going to a 7-Eleven, I'm sorry, man. Like, I go to 7-Eleven all the time. The odds of my Honda Accord crashing into the 7-Eleven are really low.
I agree, it's really low. I agree with that. But what about
I
electromagnetic
mean,
fields, man? If they got here and our planet was somehow a little different and that threw it off, nothing's infallible, man. There's no way I could agree with that. There's just no
yeah.
way.
Well, I look forward to you hitting the wall, because I know you're gonna hit it. You're gonna hit it at some point. Logic and reason is gonna take over the wonderment and the belief, and I think that's, in my opinion, I think that's what you're holding on to. And I don't know if it's a personal belief with you or a personal experience with you as well. And look, I'm not saying that to knock you, because
I got you, dude.
I'm also struggling with that exact same thing, where, like, I'm listening to what you're saying, I'm like, oh man, I feel those same old things, man. If it sounds right, it sounds right. But then I immediately go back to, okay, well, what have you seen? What have you experienced? Who have you talked to? What has been put on the table as actual evidence? And I think I want to have the same conversation that you want to have, but the only way we're going to have it is if somebody fucking does something. Like, something actually happens. And I think 100-year program, 90 years of reverse engineering, 90 years of understanding technology, 90 years of possibly dissecting something, 90 years of testing, 90 years of covering up, and no one has had the gumption or the temerity of Edward Snowden or any other famous whistleblower in the history of America or the world for that matter, where nobody's looked at this and go, you know what? This is just fucking wrong. It's wrong that this is being hidden from the world. It's wrong that nobody knows that this actually happened. This is wrong. And people need to know. People need to know. And I'm going to be the one that tells them. I don't give a shit what the consequences are. They could throw me in jail for the rest of my life. There's not one person like that has the temerity to do the right thing. I'm sorry.
I'm with you. Grush should have done it. Grush should have done it if he knew. I don't think he does.
But he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
No. If you look at the circle that he's with, I'm sure he's just talking to put off and everybody else, man. I mean, I'm with you, dude. I don't think he's some whistleblower. Listen, the only whistleblower I ever know is still in Russia. He can't come home. Okay, that's the only guy I've seen.
Right.
So right. I'm 100% on that area. I'm still holding off of just like that 1 or 2% that there's something that is super buried. But and if you want my honest opinion, and I won't take up your whole time, dude. Thank you for letting me talk to you, bro.
Hey man, these are great conversations. They're great conversations. I don't mind having a long chat like this.
Do I think that they'll tell us? No, I don't. I really don't. I think it would take a Snowden to come out, but I think anything that if anyone's sitting around waiting for some, hearing that they're going to roll a body out, because obviously the Mexico thing, whatever, but that they're going to do that here in the U.S., man, you're wasting your time. If that kind of technology is there, they'll never tell us, dude. You'll have to rip it from their fingers, man.
So then the only other way we're going to get it is if they choose to make it known, if they're even there.
Yeah, but I don't see why they would. There's too many reasons why they wouldn't tell us, man. In my opinion. Right.
So
way too many.
So what are you holding on for?
I'm looking for Edward Snowden, man. Hopefully he shows up.
I mean, well,
what else can I say, brother?
If he doesn't show up now, he ain't never coming. He ain't never coming.
Maybe. Yeah,
he
maybe.
Ain't never coming, man.
Maybe, but I tell you right now
is the best time for him to come forward. Right now would be the best time to drop an element 115. You know what I mean?
Agreed. No, 100%. But I'll tell you this: the guy that does come out and talk, you'll never have heard of him before. He won't be connected to anybody from OSAP or nothing. This is going to be a random guy that'll come out and he'll dunk everybody if it's ever going to happen. You can't have any ties. Yeah. There's not going to be any Cole Hart interview that they've held for a month. Come on, man. None of that, dude. We're going to know out of nowhere, 100%.
I agree 100% with that statement. I just don't think it'll ever happen.
I hope it does.
I don't think it'll ever happen because I don't think that guy exists. Unfortunately,
I think it's fair. I think that's fair to think.
I don't know if I 100% believe that, but I'm real damn close to full belief on that, But just like
I don't think you do, man. I don't think you do, but it's all right. It's all right.
Again, it's even if I do with a much higher bar.
Yeah,
a much higher bar and standard of evidence, So that's what I need. I think you're pretty much there. Like you're in the same. We're definitely in the same ballpark. We may not be on the exact same team, but shit, man, there might be a trade here pretty soon. Who knows?
Well, I think the biggest difference between me and you, Lou, is that I just didn't have the tragedy happen to me. What happened to you, bro? I think that's, to be fair.
Yeah, I think if a lot of people genuinely, give as much effort and put as much time and love into something, only to find out that it's all smoke and mirrors, And not only is it smoke and mirrors, but it's just really mean, and conniving and manipulative and taking advantage of people. I think that's the part that pisses me off the most. Is all of this is to take advantage of people, take advantage of the situation, take advantage of runaway spending. I think that's what at the core of this. That's what this is really about. And because of that. That's again is what's killed my belief. It's killed my passion because I see, oh shit, this is just greed. just like everything else. Just
Well, let me
like
ask you. Let me
everything
ask you
else.
something, Lou, because you have the experience with this, man. Not many
Yeah.
people do. When you look at Elizondo and you think back to your conversations with him over the time, do, obviously, you know, we see what's happened with the grifting and where intentions are, but didn't you get a little bit of a sense that, I mean, these guys, they want disclosure too, though, man. They think aliens and stuff are real. It's two things can be true, like I mentioned earlier. I mean, they can have this one side, but I think they also want to know, right? Didn't you get general curiosity from him? And I
I,
know it's
I
hard to talk nicely about people who maybe you're not in
no,
the
it's
greatest of
not even
spirits
so
with,
much.
but
It's not that
yeah.
Lou's not cool. It's not like I wouldn't hang out with him again. You know, I bust his fucking balls till no end. Um, I mean, he's Cuban. I'm Cuban. His name's Lou. I'm Lou. Like, I had his dad on my show. Like, I think everyone gets a different side of Lou. He is an everlasting gobstopper. Every time somebody puts it in his mouth, it's a different flavor. That's what it is. And when you talk to the people that I've spoken to who are close to him, like a Max Moskovich, like Alejandro Rojas, like Sean Cahill, like Andy and Dan Zetterstrom, and a lot of Josh and Artemis. Anyone who has interacted with this guy, especially met this guy in person, they all have stories. The production team that went to his house and filmed him for 3 days, the stories that I got from that production would blow your mind. Blow your mind how just rude, inconsiderate, dodgy, and puts up again like it's a different flavor with depending on who he's in front of. The stories that I've gotten on how he's a chameleon depending on who he's talking to and how he changes. I don't know if the person that I interacted with was real. I that's the part that kills me the most because I thought I knew. I thought I knew who this guy at least had an inkling about who this guy was. And then you get little slips, little slip ups like he did with using an analogy of comparing Rather's mom to a hooker, who, by the way, she was watching the show.
Yeah, it's tough.
When you get recordings of Sean Cahill ripping the shit out of David Fravor literally months after he came out publicly. It's like, wait a second, you haven't liked this guy the whole time? When you get slip-ups like he had on Kurt Jaimungal talking about how he wanted to kill ufology and how he was never on Calling All Beings with DJ, who was calling people on Lou Elizondo's behalf, telling them not to come on my show. When he was on that show, he was saying things like, I'm not a ufologist. I've never have been. I never will be. He gives you moments of real. He doesn't give a shit about UFOs. He doesn't give a shit about the people in the community. He doesn't give a shit about the veterans that have been traumatized by their experiences in this topic. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care, in my opinion. Because after everything I've seen, but more importantly, after the people that I've spoken to privately, and there are still stories that I want to share with people about this guy that are so wild. And the things people say about him and his character behind the scenes, it's not what is pinned to his profile on Twitter. I'll tell you that. And so to answer
it
your
hasn't aged well.
question, to answer your question, no, I don't think he fucking believes shit. Sean Cahill, I do think he believes. I do think he does. He's full board in on this, and he's being taken advantage of and taken for a ride and being used as a meat shield to cover the mistakes of his buddy. And he doesn't realize it. And he thinks he got a little taste of television and it went straight to his fucking head. That's what I think. I think a lot of these guys, especially podcasters and all of these fucking schmucks out there that can't walk away from their money, their little piggy bank. And they can't walk away from the likes and the attention because they've never had that kind of attention. They've never had that kind of likes. They've never had that admiration. Now, I might not be George Clooney, but I've had all of those things. I've been in front of stages, standing ovations. I've done shit in my life where people are doing this, right? So
Yeah.
I don't need that shit. I don't need it. I've had it. It's great. I love it in the right moments. But if I feel yucky about when I'm getting this, that's when I stop that shit, either creatively or when it comes to UFOs or anything I do in my life. If it doesn't feel right and I feel like I'm doing something wrong, I'm going to stop doing it. And
Some people can't, though, you know?
I hear
Some
you.
people can't.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
But to those people who can't, don't get all bent out of shape when I call you out on it. You know, if you're gonna do it, fine, do it.
If they
Go for
can't,
it.
if they can't back away from it, though, do you expect them to be once again logical on the next step, though? Too, it's not going to be,
No,
you know.
no, but
You
I
know?
might as well share my opinion
Mm.
about it and
Yeah, for
call it
sure.
out when I see
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
You know, so and that's
Yeah.
kind of where I'm at. It's like, look, if let's have the conversation, but let's be logical, just like you and I did right now. Like, we're not gonna
Yeah.
walk out of this conversation hating each other. I
Mm-mm.
thought this was an excellent conversation, and it's actually inspired me to do more of stuff like this. Like, hey, call in, let's talk about it. You know, especially if we disagree, because I
Well,
think
I mean,
I think this is where steps forward happen. Right here, right
well,
now.
it's allowing people to have their own opinion, though, man. I mean,
Yes.
that's the thing that I have. This is why I don't get into a lot of the YouTuber drama and stuff that's out there, because like I might not agree with these people. I don't think blue chicken aliens are here, but I don't mind if you say that. I mean, it is what it is, because at the end of the day, the cream always rises, man. The
Yeah,
truth will come out.
I don't
I'm
mind
not
if
worried
you
about
say
it.
it either, but when
Yeah.
you've got 1.6 million followers and you're using Joe Rogan as a mouthpiece to sell this shit and people are getting lost in it like a cult, that's when it bothers me. That's when it
Yeah.
bothers me, you
Yeah.
know, and that's when I got to say something about it, especially when the public image is, oh, we're fighting for truth, we're fighting for disclosure, we want it just like you, and behind the scenes you're attacking the people that are asking real questions,
No,
you
I
know,
agree
and
with you, but
so
I put
it's
Corbell and Knapp in a different category. I don't really look at them as like YouTube content creators, man. They're in
mm,
their own space. Like they're kind of, I'm not saying they're above, but like, you know what I mean? They're out into the public a lot more than the average YouTube guy is. So I just put
yeah,
them in a different area. You know, I
no,
mean,
that's
they're
fair.
open to scrutiny. You know,
Yep.
Corbell and them getting on. Yeah, I mean, they're making their money. But here's
Yeah.
the thing with me and Corbell. Like I think Corbell just doesn't care where the topic goes. I think he believes at the end of the day that we're never, and I think a lot of this goes for a lot of like documentary people, a lot of people that are putting a lot of that stuff out. I think they just know that the truth is probably never going to come out, and that they just
Yeah.
go ahead and make the money with it. And
Yeah.
I think if you could ask Corbell, you'd be like, hey, you know, those videos, they weren't really what you said that they were, you know, and he'd go, who cares, man? They're never
Yeah.
going to tell us. I'm just
Yeah.
going to get the money and get out of here when I can. That's what
Yeah.
I really say, to be
Yeah.
fair, honest with
Yeah.
you.
No,
Um,
and I think that's a really fair assessment. I think that's a really, and it's probably even accurate. You know, I think he doesn't give a shit, and I think he's at a point now where he's like, I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want, and I'm not gonna address any of it, because I don't have to, because I'm Jeremy Corbell, because I've got Joe Rogan that I can use to push my bullshit. I've got George Knapp that I've sunk my teeth into, and I'm gonna take these guys' credibility and say whatever the fuck I want, and who cares? Like, I mean,
Yeah, and
clearly there's no
I
repercussions.
yeah, yeah, I mean, and I don't even think it's, like, coming from, like, a place of venom either. I just think that he just sees he's a filmmaker, man,
I
like
don't see. No, he's not. He's an asshole. I'm sorry. Like, I'm
well,
sorry.
I
He's
mean,
not just a filmmaker, dude. He's not
well,
just a
no, that's not what I
filmmaker.
mean. What I mean
And
is, like, he's
when you read that Rolling Stone article about him, it lays out perfectly who he is.
yeah, I mean, but that's not really what I was trying to say. I'm saying he's
Mm.
just looking for a great story, man. He's looking for that, and he probably has some interest in the topic, but I just think he doesn't care where it goes.
That's for sure. He doesn't give a shit. He does not care. And if you look at his career, he like the whole weaponize things. Like he had a phrase called weaponize love, and it was for an art installation. An art that he did art that nobody showed up to and bought his fucking art. So then he went to Vegas and started making movies, and then he weaponized some other thing, and then boom, weaponized UFOs. He's just taking his little art ideas and applying them to UFOs. He's not an artist, man.
No, I agree, but that's why
go
he's
to
stuck with
school for
this.
filmmaking. He's not like. Yeah,
but I mean, that's why he's stuck with this though, because this is where he had success, and that's what I mean.
Right.
But I don't know if it comes from a place of venom. I just think it might come from this is where he made the most money and made the most splash, and so he just hung out.
Go listen to him. Go listen to him. Spit venom at Stanton Friedman on a stage in front of a whole crowd of people. He is venomous. He could have made. You only see that venom when you challenge his profit.
Yeah, I'm not an apologist for him, man, but he could have been playing the heel for the advertisement, man. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say.
He wasn't playing the heel, man. He was trying to make Stanton Friedman look like an asshole. How could you not believe Bob Lazar? You're the dummy. You're the dummy. You're the dummy. And so, no, I'm sorry. Like, it's venomous. It's intentional. And it's greedy. It may not be venomous. I'll take venomous out. I'll say it's definitely greedy.
I could agree with it's greedy,
and with greed comes the knowledge of what you're doing comes with it.
Well, I guess just to hammer my point home, and he doesn't even think it's probably going to go anywhere. Like they said in the last weaponized episode, he said, "Well, we got 16 or 17 episodes left." It's like, wait a second, where are you going? You think this thing's still going somewhere? What do you mean you only got a few months left?
Yeah.
What's he going to do after that? There's supposed to be no more news to him, or?
I'm sure there'll be a Grush documentary. I'm sure they're going to use this moment as content for the next 20 years until something else happens, until this springs up again somehow, which it will. It's cyclical. I mean, we've seen it already. It's just there was 50 years between the last time we've seen a moment like this. And I think that's where I was the most excited, because I was looking at it as, oh shit, we haven't seen this in 50 years. This is a moment to try and take advantage of interest, genuine interest. And we blew it. We fucking blew it.
I don't. That's one thing I might disagree with you on, bro. I don't think we've ever seen this much publicity.
Yesterday,
no. Hear what I'm saying. Hear what I'm saying first.
Yesterday,
no. I'm not saying we didn't blow it. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. We did. I'm simply saying that I don't think we've ever had this many eyes and had Congress the way that we did, and then drop the ball. I don't think we've ever dropped the ball this hard, and this is why I worry for the whole topic, because there's going to be people that are just going to start turning away. Even people who are entrenched in the topic, they're going to turn away.
The House Oversight Committee turned away after that hearing. So it's over. It's over. Like,
I mean,
it's
pretty
over.
much, yeah. I mean, look, I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but
was
I hear you.
A fart in the wind, but it's content creation for the next 20 years, because now they're going to speculate about Grush for the next 20 years. And who knows, maybe we get another whistleblower or two, but they'll say nothing. They'll have nothing. They'll be proof of nothing. And they'll be used as these mouthpieces in documentary, the sort of source material for documentaries and television. I'm sorry, man. Like this is, now right back to my cynicism and hatred for this fucking topic. Like I go back and forth constantly, but I always come back to this, man, because it's the logic outweighs the fantasy, and we've had the moment in history. We blew it. All because we couldn't get out of our own fucking ways and our own egos. And we had to, bootlick instead of fucking be rational about things. But hell,
We
I hope
definitely
I'm
went.
wrong.
We
I
definitely went
hope I'm
underprepared. No,
wrong.
I mean, I mean, yeah, but you're right. We definitely went underprepared and underfinanced, dude, when we went into Congress. You know, quote unquote, underprepared and underfinanced, man. We didn't have the right people. If there is right people,
Well, we didn't
I
have
knew
the
what you
right
mean.
people. We also didn't have the right galvanization. Like, you need not only the right people, but you need a fucking large group of support
Yeah,
and phone calls and emails. And like, if Lou Elizondo and Sean Cahill and Christopher Mellon especially had devoted their a week to promote, talk about, and encourage people to write, call, and email their lawmakers, we would have had 1 million people calling Congress. There's no doubt in my mind. They didn't do it because they didn't want it. They didn't want it. They didn't want it. They just didn't. They put up a facade as if, oh yeah, this is the best thing since sliced bread. And they didn't fucking want any of that attention. They didn't want any of that smoke because they knew the things that they were going to put on the table were bullshit and we're going to go nowhere. Just like the House Oversight Committee came to the conclusion after that hearing. They're like, this is a fucking circus. And so, yeah, man, that's why I'm like, I'm done. Like, I'm done. I'm not done. You know, clearly I'm still here, you know, but like, as far as pushing any sort of belief or hope, like, that shit's out the window. There's no more hope. There's only the bar of evidence that you need to meet and exceed before I get excited ever again, you know, or dump another dollar into somebody's story or Patreon or whatever. Like, I can't, man. I can't do it anymore. I can't do the what ifs, but you know, again, like, I always
yeah,
end these things with, I want to be wrong. Fuck, I hope.
yeah.
I mean, I hope they show themselves tomorrow, dude. I mean, I want an explanation for what I saw. I don't want it to be swamp gas or some fucking, you know, ball lightning. I want it to be what I remember. You know, I want it to be shit. This was something amazing. I got to see something that very few people have ever seen, even if it was ball lightning. Like, you know, like, either way, it was something rare and special and unique, but like, it's not proof. It's not fucking proof. It's just my story. And you know, and that's what I think a lot of folks need to look in the mirror and do with their experience. It's like, yes, this was earth shattering. Yes, this changed my life. Yes, you know, I'm a different person because of it, but it's, unfortunately, it's not proof yet. Like, it's not, and I'm not gonna push this on anybody else like that, you know. So I don't know,
Yeah.
but this was a great
No,
conversation.
hey, I appreciate you having me, brother.
Yeah,
You
no
know,
problem. No problem. It was almost we might as well put your face on the thumbnail and call this a ice cream shots interview.
you can. Hey, can I plug my podcast or no?
Please. Please. Yeah, I didn't know
um,
you had a pod. What's the podcast?
it's on Saturdays at 7 o'clock Eastern time. It's called Terrestrial Material. We talk
Terrestrial
about
material.
terrestrial
All
material.
right.
Yeah, we talk about UFOs mainly, but we do like gaming and MMA as well.
Right on, man.
It's a
Right
once
on.
a
Well,
week thing. Going on.
send me the link on Twitter and I'll put it in the description for the video. Or if you
Okay.
want, if you've got the link to your channel, put it in the private chat right here and I'll put it in the description of the video so people who are watching on replay could go check it out.
Okay, I'll grab it. All right. Well, yeah, man.
Cool.
Thanks a million for having me on, bro. Hey, look, I watch everybody's stuff, man. A lot of people's
Yeah.
stuff. I do enjoy your content, man. I see you kind of warming back up, you know, as the weeks and months go by. So,
Yeah.
it's good to have you back, dude, for sure.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I do. Well, yeah, I'm gonna put you backstage. Throw that link in the private chat, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Ice cream shots. Thanks for stopping by.
Brother.
All right, man.
See ya.
Peace. All right, guys. So that was freaking awesome. That was fucking amazing. And maybe when Ice Cream Shots gets back on the stream, I was gonna talk about this video, you know, because this was an interesting little tag, and this is something that we need to think about when it comes to technology, especially technology in the arsenal, of which 80% we haven't even seen. We don't even know exists. I think more than that, if I'm not mistaken. But Brentley posted this, said Then he wrote, a missile/targeting drone looks exactly like a Tic Tac and moves like witnesses describe. You can't see wings or exhaust or an in-flight missile. Then there is the part where the missile at a distance looks exactly like a Tic Tac. Like, exactly. And yeah, he's spot on, man. Like, we've shown videos like this before. And believe it or not, systems like these can be launched from submarines, from underneath the water. They're transmedium targeting drones. And yes, some of those, I believe, can go to space. Like, you know, so when we hear transmedium travel, like, that's something in the US arsenal. And that's another thing, like, and I've said this a few times also, like, the 5 observables. I mean, fuck, if we got one video with 3 or 4 of the 5 observables in it, and it was from different angles, I mean, that would be, I think, pretty undeniable, right? Like, people would have to stop and pay attention to that. But we haven't gotten one video, not one video with any of the 5 observables, not one. Unreal. This is hilarious. Ariel Elizabeth posted this meme, which was really funny. Half of Twitter and the other half of Twitter, UFO Twitter, you know, with the lady walking by in the new Nazca mummy meme. So funny stuff. What else did I want to talk about? This was a funny little tweet from Jeremy McGowan. He writes, Lou Elizondo, quote, I want to destroy ufology. Also, Lou, probably. Hey, Ryan, want to go to Mexico and meet my friend Jamie? like, if Lou Elizondo talked to Ryan Graves before going to Mexico and didn't say, bro, don't do this, or bro, be careful with this Jaime Maussan guy, man, they did you dirty, Ryan Graves. Super dirty, dude. Super dirty. If no one on your team told you to stay away from this and was adamant about it, you need to fire everybody. This was like, I don't think this was a mistake. I think it was on purpose to make to delegitimize you. Because now everyone's going to pair you with the Nazca mummies, buddy. And you, again, like, just kick back the conversation so far. You put us back, like, not what we were really that far ahead anyway. You know, it's the illusion that we've made progress, but we're not in second gear or third gear or fourth gear. We're in neutral. We've been in neutral for a long time, and if we are in a gear, it's first gear, spinning the wheels in the mud. There's been no progress on this, and yesterday was a clear indicator. And, you know, conversations like we just had with Ice Cream Shots, where, you know, their belief is getting waned. Like, how much longer do you guys have to look this stupid? Like, how much longer are you guys gonna put up with this shit? Like, how much longer? How much longer are you guys gonna go, oh my god, yeah, this is so great, this is the, excuse me, just burped on live. I just did a Thomas Fessler. Yeah, I mean, yesterday was absolutely hilarious. This, I wonder what kind of response he's gotten to this. The famous Seamus says it's going to be a bit before third parties can verify this information in the presentation yesterday. They did state that there was a significant pushback and significant early attempts at debunking this information when it was discovered in 2017. Time will tell. So I guess we haven't figured this out since 2017, Seamus. I just love how there's people like trying to coddle Ryan Graves. Oh, it's okay, buddy. It's all right. Look at it another way. You there representing Safe Aerospace actually help provide a level of legitimacy to these hearings. You and your team just need to keep doing what you're doing. Right? Just keep doing what you're doing. Do another conference with Jaime Maussan. Mark O'Connell Apparently, you failed to do your due diligence on Musan. Pretty sloppy work on your part. Matthew Machu says, probably didn't even know the guy was going to be there. Who cares? He definitely knew he was going to be there. It was in the he invited him. Like, he invited him and he was warned. Diego Diaz, I respectfully disagree that it was a setback. This guy's hilarious. We got to hear from Argentina's effort in South America. The DNA evidence, although controversial, was published in the National Library of Medicine. Wow. Wow. It was published in the National Library of Medicine. I, of course, laughed at this, and somebody replied with, who hurt you? Lou Elizondo hurt me. I mean, so funny, dude. Alien scientist Jeremy Reese says, don't say I didn't warn you. I warned people about Knapp and Corbell too, and Elizondo, but they didn't listen. When the U.S. government chose George Knapp to disclose the USSR's UFO files to the public was when I knew they had bought him. I mean, I don't know if you knew that, but, you know, I don't know. Russia, who bought George Knapp? Russia or the U.S. government? Melted writes, George Knapp is as legit as it comes. He has been on a 4-decade mission of finding a paper trail and documented proof of this phenomenon. What documented proof? What documented proof? There's a lot of grifters in this, but George is not one of them. Okay. I'd say go watch the Corbell documentary again, and where he was interviewed, it was his indoor pool, which, by the way, was the worst place for an interview. Fuck, the sound was so terrible in that interview. And here's Alejandro Rojas, who, you know what, I'll tell this. Somebody was begging me to tell Lou Elizondo's story. Here's a Lou Elizondo story. After the whole rather mom's a hooker thing, you know, and I was calling my friends, and at the time Alejandro Rojas was a mentor. Called Alejandro and I was like, dude, what do I do? Like, this is what happened, this is what he sent me, this is how it got out. Like, I am at a loss. Like, I feel like I'm trying to do the right thing here and I'm getting crucified for it. And you know, like, this guy lied to me. And Alejandro Rojas just straight up said, yeah, Lou's a liar. He lies all the time. All the time. To my response, which was like, so why do you work with him? Like, it wasn't a good answer. You know, every time you ask these hard questions, it's always met with, you know, it's the best we got. So I got to work with what we got. You're working with a liar? You're propagating a liar's bullshit? Straight up said he lies all the time. He's caught him lying. He had to call him out on it privately. So there's a story. Alejandro Rojas writes, your efforts have been remarkable and your heart was in the right place. Now you know which warnings to heed in the future. Lots of us old-timer UFO guys are here for you and to vet these things out. Never hesitate to call on us. Alejandro, he was warned for weeks. He knew. He knew. How could he not have known? How could he not have known? This is just a guy making excuses because, you know, he's now the head of research and content at Enigma Labs, a very mysterious organization that's being funded by apparently a really rich guy. Let's see who Enigma Labs is following. Oh, look at that. Ryan Graves, Brian Bender, Alex Dietrich, Ben Hansen. Jesus, dude. The guy who was selling Christmas lights as UFOs. Let's see. Who else are we following? Kirsten Gillibrand, Open Minds UFO News. NASA. Of course, he follows himself. That's cool. The All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. It's good that they've sort of separated themselves from the usual crew, but I have a feeling that there's the same folks that are in this circle are advising Enigma. I don't know that for sure. That's just my hunch. But there's a lot of money behind this organization, and they refuse to list who's part of it, who's advising, who's funding this organization. We just know that Alejandro Rojas is the head of research and content. The guy who knows Lou Elizondo lies all the time and is now defending the dumbest decision ever from Ryan Graves. My boy Charlie Parrish. I'm sure flight, lodging, and per diem was included, but was there an appearance fee? It's a great question. Was there an appearance fee? I wonder. Did you get paid to give away your credibility? I'll be honest, I was worried when I saw you in that lineup and didn't think it was going to be a good idea, even if the pursuit of a greater good. However, very, very pleased to see you call it out and be honest about it. Thanks for everything you have done so far. Oh, thank you so much, Ryan Graves. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's like, yeah, like Shane was just on here. Thank you, Ryan. Absolutely tried to warn you, man. Thank you for coming forward like this. It means a lot. Why? Why does this mean a lot? Like, to me, this is just... Oh, man, if he got paid for this, it would be even worse. Somebody ask him, please. Did he get paid? Did he get an appearance fee to do that? I'm curious. Anyway, guys, that was the news for the day. That's the show. Yeah. I mean, just... Woo. 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 What a day. What a day. Some good conversations. Love when conversations like that happen, because I think it's a good sort of, it's my favorite way to present my side of things, because when people actually, come on here and think they know things or whatever, it just, talking about these things other than an empty room and just into a microphone, I think just makes us look better. Just makes us shine, man. Just makes us shine. With every passing day, all of this stuff just is making us look better with every passing day. Every time something like this happens, we're gonna shine, man, because we called this shit out as soon as we saw it. I mean, we're a little late to the game, and there have been guys calling this out way before I was, and Lord knows I was judging them and looking at them like, come on, man. But yeah, I mean, Kimball says maybe when he releases his book, I'm assuming he's talking about Lou Elizondo. My understanding is that book has been canceled, that it's been put on the back burner. That's what I've heard. We shall see. I have a feeling that they're catching up to the Lou Elizondo grift and sort of his positioning in entertainment and book sales and government funding. But I could tell you he got paid when he moved to San Diego, Kimball. He got paid to move to San Diego and move his family there. He was paid to do 2 seasons of Unidentified. You can bet your ass he was paid to do that. For sure. For sure. You can't do productions like that and be expected to show up on set. If you're on a call sheet, which he definitely was, he got paid for that show. Without a doubt. He says that he only bought a lawnmower from that show. That's not true. That's not true. Yeah, I don't think that's true. He's made plenty of money. Plenty of money. And there's more to be made. Anyway, you guys, this was a fun show. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe we'll go for 4 shows in a row. I'm going to put these shows on podcasts, you guys. So check out the podcast link down below. Come follow us there. We're trying to build a podcast network again. I'm going to edit these 3 videos into podcasts and then put them up here. I'll put at least 1 up today. I don't know if I'll put all 3 up, but I'll definitely put 1 up today. But other than that, you guys, thank you so much for sharing the show, coming by, hanging out. I want to say thank you to Kimball, Lord Ludacris, Steve Long, Ice Cream Shots for stopping by, Shane for stopping by and chatting with us and getting on and helping us create content. Steve Long, thank you for being here. Been looking at all your support here. Thank you so much, Lord Bass, V, Skilly, Eventide, all my people. I love you all. Simon Fly, thank you all so damn much for being here. The Brew, Archangel Reese, first time I've seen you. Welcome. Thank you for being here. All right, you guys. Thank you for embarking on this journey with me, this journey of discovery together. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and thank you so damn much for joining me here and subscribing to the channel. Links to Patreon and support are in the description below. Have a great rest of your hump day, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.